Good morning to all and welcome to the session. The Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Right now there is no power. Let's see how it goes. Good morning. Today's editorial is all about troubled waters, the problems of fishermen, Indian fishermen being caught by Sri Lankan authorities for poaching. I would like to wait for a few minutes. Oh, the text is getting blocked. Let me see. Audio video clear, but there's no power. One problem. And here the text is getting blocked. If you guys say, sir, we'll manage, this is okay, go ahead, I will continue. Part of the text is blocked. Shall I continue this way? I want your response. Please respond. Fine then. That is a spirit. So today's editorial, it's all about the problems of Indian fishermen being caught or getting caught by the Sri Lankan authorities for poaching. And this editorial, not important from the exam point of view, but important from proficiency, language proficiency point of view. You may ask why. There are about 20 words, and all these words are very important, worth learning. Let us have a look at the words and the meanings. The first one, in fact, there is one idiom: fishing in troubled waters. You all must be knowing fishing in troubled waters. First, what is the meaning of troubled waters? A difficult situation or time. Thank you. A difficult situation or time. So, fishing in troubled waters, trying to make profit or do business in a difficult situation or time. Wean away. This we have got for the first time. An important phrasal verb. What is the meaning of wean away? To make someone gradually stop using something that is bad for them, or to make someone gradually stop depend on something or someone. Gradually, not all of a sudden. Impounding, we have got for the first time an important word. We have got many a time pound. Pound means to beat repeatedly. That goes with heavy rains, pounded. But impounding, a legal term, what does it mean? Seize and take legal custody of something, especially a vehicle, goods, or documents, because of an infringement of a law, breaking a law, violation of law. Poaching, an important word. Today we talk about extinction of species, endangered species, and one of the reasons, poaching. What does it mean? The catching and killing of animals without permission on someone else's land. That is one meaning. Poaching also means illegal hunting, killing animals illegally, wildlife, exactly. Sai Arvind. Underscore, we got this yesterday. Underscore means emphasize. Underline one meaning, emphasize another meaning. Collided, hit by accident when moving. This goes with vehicles, obviously. Tangible, an important word we have got many a time. While teaching grammar, nouns, I use two words: abstract, concrete. Abstract means something that cannot be touched or seen. Concrete, something that can be seen or touched. For concrete, we can also use the word tangible. And what is the opposite of tangible? Intangible. Tangible means perceptible by touch, and intangible, not perceptible by touch. For these two words, tangible, intangible, you should also think of concrete, abstract. Deter, an important word. Deterrent is a noun form. Deter is a verb. What does it mean? Discourage someone from doing something by instilling doubt or fear of the consequences. You don't do something because of the fear of consequences. Usually, this word goes with nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons act as a deterrent. Sustain has many meanings. In this context, strengthen or support physically or mentally. Sustain also means to hold for a long time, sustain someone's interest. And you all know sustainability. Today we talk about sustainable goals, pursuit, an attempt to find or achieve or get something. Bone of contention, an important idiom. They have given so many times. Bone of contention, cause of dispute. There's another idiom with the same meaning, apple of discord. Bone of contention or apple of discord both mean the same, cause of dispute. Agitation, it has two different meanings. One meaning, if I'm totally disturbed, excited, disturbed, then I say, I'm agitated, I was agitated. But in this context, the second meaning, the situation in which people protest or argue, agitation from the union members, agitation, students' agitation. So many groups they try to protest, then we use the word agitation. Stringent, we have got many a time. Stringent means what? Very strict, brutal, and stringent goes with rules, regulations, law. Brutal, savagely violent. You can also think of the word harsh. Counterpart, we have got many a time. A person or thing that corresponds to another person or thing in a different place or situation. He is my counterpart, she is my counterpart. Typical example. Ambitious youth, generally I use this combination. And farmers' agitation, very good. Pritham. Ambitious, having or showing a strong desire and determination to succeed. On board, usually if you're on a ship or on an aircraft, we say on board. Another meaning of on board, onto a team as a member. Someone takes you as a member onto a team, then you're on board. Swift, you must be knowing, happening quickly or promptly. All these words are very important. Now let us go to the editorial. How does it start? Troubled waters. So, what is the meaning of troubled waters? A difficult situation or difficult time. And you have to recollect the idiom fishing in troubled waters. And what is the main idea of this editorial? More effort should be made to wean away fishermen from trawlers. Trawlers, you all must be knowing, bigger than boats and smaller than ships, and trawlers are used when it comes to fishing. This is all about not using or not depending on trawlers. More efforts should be made. That means what? Efforts are being made, but more efforts. They have to put in more efforts. More efforts should be made. They should make active voice, should be made passive voice. And you have to recollect the function of the helping verb should. What does it mean? It means it has two functions. One, it is used to advise or suggest someone. The other one, it is used to express a possibility, but the chances are less. More effort should be made to wean away, make someone gradually stop either using something or depending on something, not all of a sudden. So, in this context, wean away fishermen from trawlers. They should be stopped gradually, depending on trawlers or using trawlers. What is the reason? When you go through the editorial, you understand. And any editorial is written based on a particular incident or an event that acts as a stimulus. So obviously, the editorial begins with that particular incident or the event. The arrest of 68 Tamil Nadu fishermen by the Sri Lankan authorities between December 18 and 20 and impounding of 10 boats for poaching in territorial waters have again raised concerns about the fate of the men. Look at this. Where is a verb? It starts with the arrest, that is a subject. After that, the arrest of 68 Tamil Nadu fishermen by the Sri Lankan authorities between December 18 and 20, and the impounding of 10 boats for poaching in territorial waters. After that, you got the verb. have again raised concerns about the fate of the men. But here there's one more thing. Why plural verb? The arrest, that is one key word. And after that, you have the impounding of 10 boats because there are two subjects, plural verb. This sentence talks about a recurring problem. What is it? Uh, Indian fishermen, especially Tamil Nadu fishermen, being arrested by Sri Lankan authorities. This happens on and off, a regular feature. That's what the editorial talks about. The arrest of 68 Tamil Nadu fishermen by the Sri Lankan authorities, the timeline between December 18 and 20, and the second factor, the impounding of 10 boats, legally seizing, impounding of 10 boats for poaching in territorial waters. Their territorial waters have again raised concerns about the fate of the men. They get arrested, obviously, then the question comes up, what is the fate of those fishermen? So it talks about have again, these two factors have again raised concerns. When you look at the word concern, you have to recollect an important aspect. What is that? It goes with common errors. A lot of people say, I would like to meet the concerned person. Not correct. I would like to meet the person concerned. Then it is correct. That you have to recollect. Impounding, legally seizing, usually vehicles, because of the infringement of a law, violation of a law, and poaching, an important word. Whenever we talk about uh, extinction of species or endangered species, we have to use this particular word, poaching. Poaching means illegal hunting of wildlife, one meaning, and also hunting animals, uh, not your territorial, not your territory, someone else's territory. In this context, the waters, the territorial waters, they belong to Sri Lanka, not India. Going there and fishing, that is in a way, it comes under poaching. It is a matter of comfort and relief that the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka is working to secure the early release. Whenever something happens in some other country, there we have the embassy, the High Commission. They get into action immediately. They try to sort out the problem. So here the editorial talks about that. These fishermen, they got some of them got arrested, 68 of them, and 10 boats impounded. So, what is the response from the Indian government? It is a matter of comfort, something positive. It is a matter of comfort and relief that the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka is working to secure their early release. Secure has many meanings. In this context, to get their early release to happen, to make it happen. But you all know the typical combination secure job. Why do you want to take up a job in a bank or government organization? The immediate answer secure. Government job is secure. The Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, M.K. Stalin, in his communication to the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Monday, has underscored the need to get back 75 fishing boats too from Sri Lanka. This talks about what happened in the past. Perhaps the Sri Lankan government impounded 75 fishing boats. The recent incident, 68 fishermen and 10 boats. But here, this letter by Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin talks about the previous incident where 75 fishing boats Sri Lankan government must have impounded. And based on this, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, his letter to External Affairs Minister. The Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, in his communication to the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Monday, has underscored. You got this word, underscore means what? To emphasize in this context. It has another meaning. What is other meaning? Underline. Has underscored the need to get back 75 fishing boats too from Sri Lanka. Besides the 10 boats, 75 fishing boats too from Sri Lanka. Fishermen, now it talks about generally what happens between India and Sri Lanka, the waters. When you take a particular country, I have told many a time, imagine that is a southern tip peninsula of India, and 12 nautical miles, up to 12 nautical miles, the waters belong to India. Beyond that, high seas. Anyone can fish, but 12 nautical miles, no one can enter. Same thing goes with other countries. So territorial rights are very important. Now it talks about Indian fishermen, especially Tamil Nadu fishermen, entering the waters of the Sri Lankan government or entering waters of Sri Lanka, and based on that getting arrested. Fishermen from Tamil Nadu getting arrested and released later has become a routine affair, has become present perfect. A routine affair means a regular thing, a recurrent problem. But there have been cases of deaths. If they get arrested, then later they are released, no issues. But it involves deaths, then it's a matter of concern. It talks about the same. Fishermen from Tamil Nadu getting arrested and released later has become a routine affair, but contrasting information. There have been cases of deaths. And to substantiate that statement, the editorial provides the incidents, information, statistical data. In January 2021, four fishermen from Ramantapuram district lost their lives after their vessel collided with a Sri Lankan naval craft. So it talks about a particular incident where collision, you all know the word collide means what? Hit a vehicle while moving. And it talks about in January 2021, four fishermen from Ramanathapuram district lost their lives after their vessel collided with hit a Sri Lankan naval craft. There was a similar case, one more example the editorial provides. There was a similar case in October in which a fisherman died. One fisherman died. This is why if people are getting, they get arrested, later released, that's okay. But fishermen die, then it's a matter of concern. Based on that, the editorial says, this is why the Park Bay fishing dispute needs a resolution soon. If fishermen die, then definitely it's a matter of concern and it needs a resolution soon. Here, resolution means what? Solution. The fact that many rounds of discussions at the levels of the fishermen and the governments of the two countries have not led to any tangible improvement in the situation should not deter the pursuit of sustained engagement to sort out a problem that involves humanitarian and livelihood issues. A very lengthy sentence. It talks about the fact that many rounds of discussions have not led to any tangible improvement. Many rounds of discussions have happened, but at the levels of these discussions, at the levels of fishermen and the governments of the two countries, India and Sri Lanka, have not led to any tangible improvement. It doesn't mean that they have to stop trying because two things are involved. One is two aspects are there. One is humanitarian, the other one livelihood issue. The fact that many rounds of discussions at the levels of fishermen and the governments of the two countries have not led to any tangible improvement, tangible, perceptible by touch, in the situation should not deter. Again, a helping verb and deter. Deter means what? Discourage someone because of the consequences, or someone gets discouraged because of the fear of consequences, should not deter the pursuit of sustained engagement. Pursuit, try for something. Sustained engagement. In this context, sustain has got many meanings. In this context, it means continued engagement, continue for a long time. To sort out a problem, that involves, what is this problem? It involves because it involves humanitarian and livelihood issues. Fishermen getting killed, it involves deaths, then humanitarian, and they lose, they cannot fish, that is a livelihood issue. This is an important idiom they have given in so many competitive exams, the bone of contention, especially SBI. But there is another idiom with the same meaning, apple of discord. The bone of contention between the two countries means what? The cause of dispute between the two countries has been the use of bottom trawlers by the Tamil Nadu fishermen, a practice opposed in Sri Lanka's northern province on the ground that trawling damages the marine ecosystem. If you remember the main idea at the beginning of the editorial, the second sentence, it talks about weaning away the fishermen from using the trawlers. The main problem here, using trawlers. What is the reason? Why is it a problem? Trawling damages the marine ecosystem. The bone of contention between the two countries has been, again, present perfect tense, has been what? The use of bottom trawlers. This is a bone of contention by the Tamil Nadu fishermen. This practice opposed in Sri Lanka's northern province. On what basis they oppose? On the ground, that's an important phrase, that trawling damages a marine ecosystem. If it damages a marine ecosystem, obviously, that's what I said at the beginning, Sudhakar. Maybe you are not there. I asked the students whether to continue or not. Students said, "Sir, please go ahead." Perhaps you were not there that time. Marine ecosystem. This practice has been banned in Sri Lanka, and there have been agitations for stringent enforcement of the law. If you take Sri Lanka, the government and the people over there, the fishermen over there, or the NGOs, this practice has been banned. It is in passive voice. In Sri Lanka, what practice? What is the practice over here? Using bottom trawlers because it damages a marine ecosystem. This practice has been banned in Sri Lanka, and there have been agitations for stringent enforcement of the law. Agitations, protests for what? Stringent enforcement, strict enforcement of the law. More than anything else, the fishermen of Tamil Nadu should take into account the fact that their counterparts, means the fishermen in Sri Lanka, on the other side of the Park Strait, are still struggling to pick up the threads of their lives after a brutal civil war. This is a bit difficult to understand, but what does it mean? It means fishermen of Tamil Nadu should take into account, should consider the fact, what is the fact, that their counterparts in this context, fishermen of Sri Lanka, on the other side of the Park Strait, are still struggling. Why are they struggling? And to do what? To pick up the threads of their lives, means to survive after a brutal civil war. The northern province experienced a civil war, and after the brutal, savage, harsh, they are trying to survive, and they decided not to use the trawlers, and the Sri Lankan government banned use of trawlers. That fact has to be considered by Tamil Nadu fishermen. That's what it talks about. Given that an ambitious 1,600 crore scheme of replacing in 3 years 2,000 bottom trawlers with deep sea fishing boats equipped with long lines and gill nets continues to be a disappointment. There's a scheme. What is that scheme? And what does it involve? 1,000 crore scheme. Huge amount. Given that an ambitious, that's the reason why the word ambitious has been used. Given that an ambitious 1,600 crore scheme, what is the scheme about? Replacing in 3 years 2,000 bottom trawlers with deep sea fishing boats equipped with long lines and gill nets continues to be a disappointment. That means it is not happening, though there is a scheme. So, disappointment. Both the central and Tamil Nadu governments need to take up fresh initiatives to get the fishermen on board. On board, in this context, take someone as a member onto a team. On board. On board also goes with ships, aeroplanes. The main reason for failure, that means the scheme has been a failure, and the editorial talks about the reason behind. The main reason for failure is a component of cost to be borne by the fishermen. Usually, fishermen have to spend some money and they may get the subsidy, some support from the government. Here, the main reason for failure is a component of cost to be born, an important expression, and please focus on the spelling of the word born. BORNE, not BORN. To be born by the fishermen, accounting for 30% of the unit cost of 80 lakh. Out of 80 lakh, 30% to be borne by the fishermen, and that is the main reason for failure. The two governments take care of the remaining 70%. 30% fishermen have to bear, and 70% the two governments, in this context, the center and Tamil Nadu state. Apart from increasing the unit cost at least to 1.2 crore, which will be at the same level as that of a similar scheme under the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, the governments must increase their share of subsidy. It talks about The governments, they must increase the share of subsidies so that the burden will come down. Fishermen, they will be able to afford. Apart from increasing unit cost at least to 1.2 crore, which will be at the same level as that of a similar scheme, another scheme, similar one, under the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, the governments must increase their share of subsidy. They should also motivate the fishermen to adopt sea cage farming and sea ocean ranching, which were all covered under the PMMSY. This is another dimension altogether, alternative. It is like a suggestion, it is like a solution. They should also motivate the fishermen to adopt, adapt, three different words you have to recollect, sea cage farming and sea ocean ranching, which were all covered under the PMMSY. How does the editorial end? Such an approach is essential as the fishermen find it hard to restrict themselves to India's territorial waters, given the limited marine wealth and area on the Indian side. Now, the bottom line, the question, why do Tamil Nadu fishermen enter Sri Lankan waters? What is the reason? Why are they tempted? Why are they not able to restrict themselves to India's territorial waters? The reason for that, limited marine wealth and area on the Indian side. They cannot get the fish or the marine life like marine fish and prawns or whatever it is. So they try to enter Sri Lankan waters. Such an approach is essential as the fishermen find it hard to restrict themselves to India's territorial waters and they go to Sri Lankan waters given the limited marine wealth on and area on the Indian side. But the priority now, it ends on a different note. What is the priority right now? But the priority now for New Delhi should be in securing the swift release of the 68 fishermen. 68 fishermen arrested. Now, based on that, the priority right now should be securing, getting the swift release, quick release of the 68 fishermen. That's all about the editorial. And based on this editorial, what are the questions you can think of? What is this editorial about? What has again raised concerns about the fate of the fishermen? Focus on the keywords or try to write the answer. What has become a routine affair in the context of the editorial? What should not deter the pursuit of sustained engagement to sort out the problem? What has been the bone of contention between the two countries? Easy to answer. Now, today, to be very frank, I find it very difficult to continue because there's no power. The studio, it has become very stuffy. And I would like to wind up the session here. Hope you guys can understand. Try to work on the meanings, editorial words, editorial vocabulary, the words and the meanings. After the session, I'll provide the PDF, and PDF you will not have any problem. You can go through the uh, words and also important phrases. Thank you very much for being with me, especially today, and have a nice day. I will see you guys.